He raised his siblings when Kody wouldn't, and now the man who quietly carried the weight of the family has stepped back into the picture. Not to heal wounds, not to make peace, but to stop what insiders are calling a slow-motion financial massacre. Early this morning, before most of Flagstaff had finished its first cup of coffee, a figure long absent from the chaos of cameras and confessionals was spotted walking into the Coconino County Courthouse. Logan Brown wasn't there to observe. He wasn't there to support. He was allegedly there to file paperwork that could change the Brown family forever. And if what our sources are telling us is true, this wasn't a routine legal visit. This was the opening move of a war. For years, viewers watched the Brown family fracture in real time. Wives walked away, children emotionally drifted, and Kody Brown, once the loud, self-declared patriarch, seemed to spiral deeper into paranoia and rage. But through all of that noise, there was one name that remained conspicuously quiet. Logan Brown, the eldest son. The one who stepped away from the show, turned his back on fame, and built a stable life far from the dysfunction. The one Kody could never publicly criticize, because Logan never gave him a reason to. Till now. According to multiple independent reports, Logan was photographed in downtown Flagstaff early this morning wearing something no one expected. A tailored suit, a briefcase in hand. His posture calm, focused, and unmistakably intentional. This alone set off alarm bells. Logan doesn't dress like this for nostalgia. He doesn't show up unannounced. And most importantly, he doesn't return to Flagstaff unless something is deeply wrong. Standing beside him, according to local sources, was a high-profile financial attorney known for handling aggressive estate disputes and forensic accounting cases. This was not a family visit. This was an intervention, and not the emotional kind. Before we go any further, understand this. Logan Brown stepped up when Kody stepped out. When the cameras shut off, when the adults were fighting, when the family structure collapsed, Logan was the one making breakfast, getting kids to school, holding things together behind the scenes. He wasn't just the oldest sibling. He was the functional father. So when whispers began circulating that the money meant to protect those siblings had vanished, Logan didn't react like a son. He reacted like a guardian. The theory unfolding now is dark, complex, and potentially explosive. Sources close to the family claim that savings accounts established years ago for the younger children, Savannah, Truly, and Isabel, may have been quietly drained. These were not casual accounts. They were widely believed to be family funds intended for college tuition, medical emergencies, and long-term security. Money meant to give the children stability after growing up in chaos. But insiders allege that these accounts didn't disappear because of necessity. They disappeared to cover debt. Specifically, Robyn Brown's debt. Late last night, a throwaway Reddit account briefly posted what appears to be a leaked bank ledger. It didn't stay online long, but screenshots spread fast. One line item in particular sent the fandom into collective shock. An $80,000 transfer. The label read tuition. But internet sleuths quickly noticed something didn't add up. The routing number didn't point to any university. The destination account allegedly led to an investment account tied to Robyn Brown and a shadowy LLC. $80,000. That's not just a number. That's Isabel's surgery. That's Savannah's housing. That's Truly's future. For years, Kody Brown insisted he was the provider, the manager of resources, the patriarch who made the tough calls. But the reality behind the scenes paints a different picture. While Kody bounced between houses and chased control, Logan was doing the actual work of care. And now, the boy who once carried his siblings on his back may have discovered that their financial safety was sacrificed to sustain one household's lifestyle. This is where the story shifts, from tragic to dangerous. Logan Brown did not return to Flagstaff to argue. He didn't come to yell on a porch or relive old wounds. He came to look at the books. Sources say a forensic audit was quietly commissioned, and what it allegedly uncovered has sent shockwaves through the family's inner circle. Because the money trail doesn't just stop at a single transfer. It leads into a maze of LLCs, shell companies, and asset movements that suggest something far more deliberate than bad budgeting. Most fans are familiar with Dabsark, the LLC Kody and Robyn set up years ago, named after Robyn's children and Kody himself. Noticeably absent from that acronym are Kody's other children. But what's raising eyebrows now is a newly filed entity, established just last month, according to public records in Arizona. This time, the officers listed aren't just Kody and Robyn. They allegedly include Aurora and Brianna, Robyn's daughters. Legal experts watching this unfold believe this could be a classic case of asset shielding. By moving ownership, valuables, and cash into an LLC tied to specific individuals, Kody may have been attempting to place assets out of reach of potential lawsuits. If Logan and Janelle are preparing legal action, and all signs suggest they are, this shell game would make sense. It's a desperate attempt to hide the money before someone with the skills to follow it shows up. And Logan didn't come alone. Forensic accountants don't just look at what exists. They look at what's missing. They follow patterns. They trace negative space. If Kody claims he's broke but continues buying high-value art, jewelry, and collectibles, the math doesn't lie. And according to the leaked reports, the math is screaming. The most damning detail may not be the $80,000 transfer itself, but the label attached to it. Tuition, a word chosen carefully, because if questioned by the IRS or a judge, Kody could claim the money was moved for educational purposes. But if that money ended up servicing personal debt or luxury purchases, it crosses a line. That's not mismanagement. That's fraud. And when trust funds and family accounts are involved, it becomes a breach of fiduciary duty. Logan knows this. He works in the corporate world. He understands compliance, accountability, and consequences. When he saw the pattern, or when Janelle showed him, he realized this wasn't an accident. This was a system. And systems don't collapse quietly. They get exposed. What makes this even more chilling are the alleged microtransactions uncovered in the audit. Small transfers. $500 here. $1,000 there. Labeled innocuously. Collectibles, decor, investments. Over a decade, those small withdrawals allegedly added up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the boiling frog method. Take just enough that no one notices, until suddenly everything is gone. Kody may have assumed the wives were too busy raising children to check the math. What he didn't account for was the son who never stopped paying attention. And that brings us back to the courthouse. Logan wasn't there for symbolism. He was there to act. Sources claim he moved to file an injunction, an emergency legal order designed to stop further financial damage immediately. You don't file an injunction against your father unless you have evidence. This wasn't about feelings. This was about stopping the bleeding. Handcuffs. The money alone was enough to shatter the illusion of control Kody Brown had spent decades building, but what emerged next threatened to destroy him entirely. Because when Logan and the forensic accountant began lining up dates, documents, and public filings, they allegedly stumbled onto something far more dangerous than hidden transfers. They found a signature, or rather what appeared to be a signature. And according to sources close to Janelle Brown, it was not hers. 3 months ago, public records quietly updated at the Coconino County Clerk's office showed a modification to the loans tied to the Coyote Pass property. At the time, no one noticed. No headlines. No fanfare. Just another line in a system designed to operate unnoticed. But this modification required consent. It required authorization from all parties with a legal stake in the land. That meant one thing. Kody needed Janelle Brown's signature. And that's where everything starts to unravel. Janelle had been financially estranged from Kody for over a year. She had been clear, publicly and privately, that she would not sign another document until she recovered the equity she had already lost. She had no house, no assets. Everything she worked for had gone into the family pot, and she had nothing to show for it. So when a document appeared bearing her signature, authorizing additional debt on Coyote Pass, the question became impossible to ignore. How did it get there? According to sources who have previously provided accurate information about the family's filming schedule and travel history, Janelle was not even in Arizona on the date the document was allegedly signed. She was reportedly in North Carolina, visiting Maddie and her grandchildren. Flight logs, hotel confirmations, and witness accounts all place her hundreds of miles away. She physically could not have been in the room with the notary. Yet the paperwork exists. Filed. Stamp. Official. This is the moment the story crosses a line. If that signature is not Janelle's, then what we are looking at isn't just financial misconduct, it's fraud. And the theories surrounding how it happened are chilling. One possibility is outright forgery. Another, perhaps even more disturbing, is the use of a power of attorney that Janelle allegedly revoked months earlier. If Kody continued to act under authority he no longer had, knowing it was invalid, the implications are severe. Bank fraud, identity theft, federal charges. Sources say Janelle didn't discover this because Kody confessed. She discovered it because banks send letters, notifications, paper trails. A confirmation arrived in the mail thanking her for her cooperation in refinancing. Imagine standing in your kitchen, holding a letter that confirms you authorized something you know you didn't. That moment changes everything. This was no longer a misunderstanding. This was no longer something to negotiate. Janelle didn't scream. She didn't confront Kody. She didn't call Robyn. She did the smartest thing she's ever done. She called Logan. When she handed those documents to her son, she wasn't just asking for help. She was handing him proof. Signatures. Evidence. Logan reportedly compared the paperwork to travel records, notary logs, and timelines. And when the realization hit, it was immediate and irreversible. His father hadn't just mismanaged money. He had allegedly stolen his mother's identity to keep Robyn's land afloat. That is why Logan returned to Flagstaff with a forensic accountant. They weren't just chasing missing money anymore. They were building a criminal case. This new layer recontextualizes everything that came before it. The shell companies, the asset transfers, the sudden restructuring of LLCs that placed Robyn's daughters in positions of authority. It all begins to look less like chaos and more like preparation. As if Kody knew something was coming and tried to move the pieces before anyone could stop him. And this is where the psychological shift becomes undeniable. Kody no longer appears to view his family as people. According to those close to the situation, he sees them as resources, credit scores, signatures, assets to be leveraged. Janelle is no longer a wife. She is a line on a balance sheet, a means to access debt, tool to delay collapse. Meanwhile, Logan moves quietly, methodically. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't posture. He prepares. And then comes the moment neighbors can't stop talking about. Earlier this week, witnesses in the vicinity of Robyn and Kody's home, the McMansion perched like a fortress on the hill, reported a confrontation that had nothing to do with filming. No cameras, no producers, just raw, unfiltered reality. A dark sedan pulled into the driveway. Logan Brown stepped out. Witnesses say he didn't shout. He didn't slam doors. He walked up calmly, with the confidence of someone who already knows the outcome. Kody came out to meet him. And instantly, the dynamic we've seen for years exploded into real life. The wild hair, the flailing arms, the raised voice. Kody reportedly began yelling about respect, authority, and loyalty. The same script he's used for nearly 2 decades. The performance of dominance meant to intimidate. But Logan didn't react. According to the witness, Logan stood completely still. He let Kody burn himself out. He let the tantrum run its course. And when the shouting stopped, when Kody finally paused, expecting submission, Logan spoke. Quietly, clearly, without emotion. "You don't own this house, Kody. The bank does. And I'm buying the debt." That sentence detonated everything. Because those words mean something very specific. It means Logan isn't just suing. It means he or an investment group he is connected to is moving to acquire the distressed notes on the property. If Kody is behind on payments, and the leaked ledger suggests he is, the debt can be sold. And whoever holds the debt holds the power. The son becomes the bank. Witnesses say Kody went silent. The bluster vanished. He understands leverage. He has used it his entire life. And in that moment, he realized he had lost it. Logan wasn't there to argue morality. He was there to reclaim assets, to foreclose if necessary, to dismantle the fortress brick by brick and use the proceeds to repay what was taken. Robyn, according to insiders, was watching from inside the house. The security bubble she believed was permanent suddenly looked fragile, because if the debt changes hands, everything changes. Ownership, control, survival. That driveway confrontation wasn't a fight. It was a declaration of war. And Logan walked away knowing the most powerful move was still ahead of him. Because while Kody stood frozen on the hill, Logan didn't go home. He went back to the courthouse. And what he filed next didn't just threaten Kody's finances. Froze them. What Logan filed that afternoon wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic on the surface. There were no flashing lights, no arrests, no public statements. But legally, it was the equivalent of slamming a steel door shut and welding it from the outside. By the time the sun dipped behind the hills of Flagstaff, a document had been processed that would quietly suffocate Kody Brown's ability to move, hide, or escape. It was a notice known as lease pendens. And once it was filed, everything stopped. Lease pendens means suit pending. But in the real world, it means something far more brutal. It is a warning shot to every bank, lender, title company, and investor within the state. Says this property is now radioactive. Do not touch it. Do not refinance it. Do not buy it. Do not lend against it. Anyone who does becomes legally entangled in the lawsuit. With one filing, Logan effectively froze the Coyote Pass property and any attached interests. Kody could not sell land to raise cash. He could not refinance to lower payments. He could not take out emergency loans to pay lawyers. The one escape hatch he had been counting on vanished in an instant. And the timing could not have been worse for Kody. Sources close to the family say his financial situation was already precarious. The McMansion on the hill was expensive to maintain. The land taxes on Coyote Pass were due. Credit lines were stretched thin. The entire structure relied on constant motion, moving money, refinancing debt, juggling payments just enough to stay ahead of disaster. Lease pendens killed that motion, turned liquidity into concrete. Millions of dollars in land suddenly became useless dirt. Witnesses claim Kody drove to the property later that day and stood staring at the notice taped to the fence post. No yelling, no theatrics, just silence. Because this wasn't something he could talk his way out of. This wasn't a family argument. This was a legal chokehold. He was land-rich and cash-starved, trapped by a system he thought he controlled. Inside the McMansion, the mood reportedly shifted from denial to panic. People close to the situation describe an atmosphere of frantic energy. Boxes appeared in hallways. Not packages arriving, but boxes waiting to leave. The kind of boxes you use when you don't know how long you can stay. Delivery drivers noticed. Neighbors noticed. The illusion of permanence was cracking. The forensic audit continued in the background, quietly compiling a story that numbers tell without emotion. Every transfer, every withdrawal, every LLC filing. According to leaks, the audit didn't just confirm the $80,000 tuition transfer. It revealed a pattern. Microtransactions spanning nearly a decade. Small amounts routed out of family accounts into vaguely labeled expense categories tied to collectibles, artwork, jewelry, and decor. Individually forgettable, collectively devastating. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, allegedly siphoned slowly enough to avoid detection. Money that should have gone toward children's futures quietly transformed into assets sitting behind glass cabinets and locked doors. Assets now at risk of seizure. This is where Robyn's role becomes impossible to ignore. Sources emphasize that if the audit confirms that family trust funds were used to purchase items in her name or her business entities, those items are no longer protected. They are evidence. Paintings, figurines, jewelry, rings. All of it becomes fair game. The fortress was built with money that may not have belonged to them. Meanwhile, Janelle remains largely silent. No interviews, no outbursts, no victory laps. According to people close to her, she has shifted into a mode few have seen before. Focused, patient, standing firmly behind her son. This is not revenge. This is reclamation. And the psychological collapse of Kody becomes more visible by the day. The man who once demanded loyalty now finds himself isolated. The wives who worked are gone. The children who believed are grown. The narratives he crafted for 18 seasons begin to collapse under the weight of documented truth. You can argue with people. You cannot argue with spreadsheets. The power dynamic has completely inverted. Kody spent his life leveraging authority over women and children. Now his own son has leveraged the system against him. Not with rage but with preparation. Not with accusations but with filings. The quiet ones always move last. The rumors intensify as Monday approaches. The forensic audit is nearing completion. Sources say the report is comprehensive, clinical, and devastating. It doesn't speculate. Documents. If it confirms what the leaked ledger suggests, that more than $500,000 was diverted from family and children's accounts, the case escalates instantly. Embezzlement, wire fraud, forgery. These are not reality TV problems. These are crimes with sentences. Kody's greatest fear was always poverty. He talked about it obsessively. And in his desperation to avoid it, he may have guaranteed it. Worse than that, he may have guaranteed consequences that no amount of bluster can undo. As the walls close in, the irony becomes impossible to miss. The son who walked away from the cameras to protect himself has returned to protect everyone else. Logan Brown isn't performing. He isn't seeking validation. He is executing a plan. And the final move hasn't even landed yet. Because while lease pendants froze the land, and the audit exposed the money, there is still one question hanging over everything like a storm cloud. What happens when the audit reaches a prosecutor instead of a judge? What happens when paperwork turns into warrants? By the time Monday morning arrived, the tension around the Brown family was no longer confined to whispers and leaks. It had hardened into something heavier, something procedural. This was no longer a family dispute unfolding in living rooms and driveways. This was a matter of files moving across desks, of sealed envelopes, of decisions being made in offices far away from the cameras that once protected Kody Brown from consequences. The forensic audit, long rumored and quietly feared, was finished. And according to multiple sources familiar with its contents, what it revealed was not chaos. It was intent. The report allegedly mapped the family's financial history with brutal precision. Every account, every withdrawal, every transfer that didn't align with its stated purpose. The math told a story Kody could never control, interrupt, or reframe. It showed how money meant for children's education and medical needs slowly bled into business entities tied to Robyn. It showed how family funds were rerouted, disguised, and layered through LLCs in a way that suggested planning, not accident. And most damning of all, it placed those transactions on a timeline that overlapped perfectly with mounting debt, loan extensions, and frantic refinancing attempts. This is the moment where the story stops being subjective. Because feelings can be debated, memories can be distorted, but numbers don't lie, and documents don't care who you are. According to insiders, the audit did not conclude with uncertainty. Concluded with conclusions. It outlined potential criminal exposure, named transactions that violated fiduciary duty, and flagged documents that warranted further investigation by authorities. This was no longer just something for family court. This was referral territory. What happens next is always the quietest part of any downfall. There are no dramatic scenes, no monologues, no tearful confrontations. Just a shift. Calls that stop being returned. Advisors who suddenly distance themselves. A sense that the ground underneath you has begun to give way. Kody, according to those close to him, became withdrawn. The rage faded. The shouting stopped. Because anger is useless when the danger becomes real. And then there is the signature. The document authorizing new debt on Coyote Pass, the one bearing Janelle's name, was reportedly isolated, examined, and compared. Signatures don't exist in isolation. They live among patterns, pressure strokes, habitual curves, the way a person signs when rushed